fired up. Lights on, mics hot. Where outlaws talk loud and kings don't whisper. Welcome to Cowboys and Kings. Yeah. Cowboys and Kings. Yeah. Boots on the floor. Yeah, we're kicking it live. Crown in the room, you can feel that vibe. From the panels to the pixels, every story gets told. If it's hot in the culture, then we breaking the mold. From the cinema to the comic books, we put the games on blast. The beats will get wild, yeah, they never go past. We call it how it is, no in between. Turn it up, let the speakers swing. Got the crew pulling up, let them all step in. Every guest got a voice, the comments in chat will fly. Step up and be a king. When the mics go live, hear the Cowboys sing. Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes it with a rebel swing. It's a Cowboys grit and a King's gold ring. Cowboys and Kings. Let the whole world hear as we break it all down, keeping it loud and clear. Bring more than talk when y'all step in the ring. When you come to the battle royale, you better bring your thing. Welcome to the show, Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, KingStyle, clean with the sharp cut look. The feline of finesse, the Jaguar dripping luxury, bow tie tight like a best-selling book. Calm in the storm, buddy, bring that fire. Every word hits clean. You know we gonna take it higher, gather y'all to the King's Court. Yeah, with stories untold. Grab your armor, grip your sword, represent the kingdom with pride. Cowboy Dan got that outlaw tone, rough edge truth and a voice well known. He's a head trapped in the jar, jokes and memes will set you free. Bruh, that perspective hit differently. The saloon serves them hard, the door swings wide. Outlaw screamer, six-gun dreamer, saddle up, let's ride. Laughs get loud and the takes get bold. Hard truths get dropped, some myths get sold. Spin that topic, let opinions clash. Some burn slow, some strike like a match. No script needed when the sparks ignite. Just real talk living in the spotlight. Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes hit with a rebel swing. It's a Cowboys grit and a King's gold ring. Cowboys and Kings. Let the whole world hear. We break it all down, keeping it loud and clear. Bring more than talk when y'all step in the ring. When you come to the battle royale, you better bring your thing. Welcome to the show, Cowboys and Kings. Lights get low, but the combo stays bright. Every fandom got a reason to fight. Heroes, villains, lines get thin. Sometimes the truth is where the gray walks in. Yeah. Panel to panel, yeah, we flip that page. From retro classics to the modern age. Reboots, remakes, who got it right? Who dropped the ball in that box? Office fight, bruh. We call it straight, no filter here. From low budget gems to the blockbuster tier. One got the crown, one breaking the rules. Both dropping gems while we schooling fools. From comics to streams, yeah, we cover the field. Every hot take sharp like a blade unsealed. I guess step up to the mic that bring heat, that bring flames. They tell you a story when they step in the frame. Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes hit with a rebel swing. Under a Cowboys hat and a King's jewel crown, we gonna run this town. Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes hit with a rebel swing. It's a Cowboys grit and a King's gold ring. Cowboys and Kings. Pull up a seat, join the conversation. Next round's on us. Cowboys and Kings.
Welcome to another special edition of Cowboys and Kings during the subathon month. That's right. We have episode 12 of Cowboys and Kings. Today we're talking about origin stories with me and my very own co-host, the one, the only KingStyle.
Hey, what's going on, Dan?
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, or people of all ages, I should say, welcome to episode 12, because tonight we are discussing origins in pop culture. And it is going to be a good one, whether it's our personal, how we got to, liking the stuff that we like in pop culture, or our avatar characters' origin stories. We are going to discuss it tonight. and we're gonna have a good old time, aren't we, Dan?
Oh, I think we're going to have a good time tonight. Today's going to be a big day for us. So we're starting the day off. I started the day off playing a little Minecraft, and very short game of Minecraft, a couple of days worth in Minecraft gameplay, and then uh, now we're here, and tonight we're going to be going over and hanging out with Theta of Nerd Archaeology for his birthday mayhem. Big day, part of our subathon month. Like I said, we're trying to get as many people to sub to not only me but also KingStyle. If you guys haven't already gotten a chance to do so, make sure you sub to KingStyle. He is looking to get up to 50 subscribers so that way he can stream on his channel as well. We're looking forward to potential shows like InStyle but KingStyle, Around the Mat on King's Ring. I'm coming up with fake show titles for you.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's a cool title you came up with that with Dan, like King of the Ring or Ringka King. Like, unfortunately, I think they're legally taken, but we can come up with something. I don't know. Maybe I could buy the trademarks. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows, right?
Who knows? We're gonna
or I
we
could
got
just do it anyway because I don't need to play
we're
fair
gonna
against them.
we got to get you to that 50. We're gonna get you to that 50, and that's why we're here today. We went 12 episodes, and as of today, and not once did we talk about our origins.
Yeah,
We popped
we
in
did
with
do
some of our
that.
strongest topics and just like rocked it. And I figure now that we're back from our little hiatus, we finally get a chance to do that. Talk about our origins and our favorite origins from pop culture.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And do you want to start first, Dan, or
No, but I want to show everybody our thumbnail real quick.
okay?
So I went through multiple renditions of the thumbnail, and for some reason, it keeps on wanting to give me a body. So it must be that I must have had a body during my origin stories before I got into the jar. And man, look
Yeah.
at you, King. Wow, I didn't know you were so ripped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's probably because of the my origin story, how I got so ripped. Uh, it I wasn't this tiger slash leopard slash jaguar being. I was actually a human being, or I technically could de-transform to be back to human whenever I feel like it. But it's kind of like Shazam or Black Adam. You just say a word or you just transform, and there you go, voila.
Walloly.
Yeah. So unfortunately, or maybe fortunate for me, unfortunately for the fusion that I ended up getting, I saw a fight that I wasn't supposed to see,
Well,
and I was walking, and there was these two beings that were like animal god beings, right, fighting each other. And one of them had an earring on, and it fell out, and I didn't realize they had it. I said, "Oh my god, this is a cool earring!" And then I waited for the fight to be over. I put the earring on, thinking that it was a cool souvenir memento, and the god leopard jaguar being was like, "No, don't do that!" And then I fused with him.
Well, maybe that might be featured in that storyline. Might be featured in the comic book KingStyle, Feline of Finesse. We got
So
to get
now we're stuck together, basically. Like literally, he is a part of me, and I'm a part of him. And basically, my human body host, he's stuck inside of me, unfortunately, or fortunate for me, because now I got his powers, got his
Hey,
strength, durability. I'm practically immortal, dude. I can't die in this form, dude. He
wha-
wants to get out, but hey, stuff happens,
hey,
and
that's a good lore. We're gonna have to remember that when we come back to it, because Eventually we're
AKA
going to do,
expand or retcon it whenever we feel like it, because this is a comic
yeah.
book story.
Uh, I know that myself, Theta, and a few other people are have their lores in our group, and I'm hoping to do a origin stories slash lore meetup, kind of like how all our IPs kind of join each other in a shared universe. So
and
it's something I'm
mm,
working on, is a little storyline that will.
and I was trying to be a wrestler, but I couldn't. Unfortunately, it kept denying me because they said I wasn't strong enough.
Well,
And
now
then
you.
I'm super strong. I could probably I have to hold back because I could injure somebody really bad. So now I got into the wrestling business because of that, quote unquote. It's cruel. By the way, I have to be in my human form. I could access the powers of this jaguar being anytime I want into human form too. I have to be careful. It's kind of like Spider Man. Got to be very careful not to hurt somebody without trying, because Doc Ock found that out the hard way. He broke somebody's jaw.
He did, but he was in the body of Spider-Man when he did it.
Yeah, but then he realized, holy cow, I should be thankful that he isn't going full strength on me, because I would end up having a broken jaw or a broken fractured eye socket.
Oh, we what we got to do is, and this is something I want to do is, like I said, there's a whole bunch of people that's in our community that have um our own IPs that we resemble ourselves by, or look that we use to kind of show ourselves off in an alternate form that is not the human IRL version of us. And eventually, we're going to do a whole lore building episode where we're going to bring a bunch of our friends together, so that way I can write a story. And I'm gonna pretty much put together a story of our origins, and on top of our story of our origins. So we're going to get everybody's origins together. Then we're going to do like one of those ultimate meetups, like we were talking about last night on episode 11, where sometimes you get the superheroes and they find each other and there's a conflict, but then they realize they're on the same side. And hopefully we're able to get this together and to get this concept together, and we'll be able to, well, make a meetup slash group origins story that we can possibly one day make into a digital comic book that people can read. It'll be great for our community, and it's something that I've been working towards for a minute now. Real quick, I would like to take a minute and recognize chat. We have Theta of Nerd Archaeology shouting out in chat first. That's right, Theta. And then the one and only Captain Garantino. Welcome aboard, mon capitan. Second. And we got TCG dude throwing up his pink waving hands and saying, "Hey, I'm here too." And let's not forget the one, the only, the beautiful Miss Jamie Lee Simmons. How are you doing? I hope you all are doing well. And we're going to have a few more people pop into our chat here tonight. Was talking to the collector in my previous stream, and he brought in a friend over there. Hopefully, they're able to make their way back for this show, as we are going to have a pretty good topic. And I think you guys will enjoy it. We
You better believe it, man.
oh yeah, it's going to be a pretty good topic, and I got some stuff I'd like to share with you guys tonight, along with our stories and our reminiscing about our favorite IPs and their origin stories. First, though, really would like to recognize um, a good friend of mine from the internet who is one of my featured artists. He made this picture of me where apparently I did some nefarious deeds when I had my body. And those deeds were unauthorized space launch attack, disturbing the peace with spur clacking, and illegal possession of cowboy gear. Now, Bo, the PFP guy, made this image for me, and he made a few other images that have been rocking, and you're going to be seeing a few of those in up and coming thumbnails or versions of me that he made for thumbnails because I kind of like them. Like this one right here, where I'm responsible for the destruction of the universe. And quite a few others that he's made. You can check out Bo the PFP guy over on the Twitter if you'd like to follow him. He makes awesome versions of your profile image. And if you follow him, comment on a daily basis, he just might make one for you as well. Here's another one that he made for me, and it's Cowboy Dan, Cowboy Head in a Jar. Really enjoy that. Once again, go check out Bo, the PFP dude, or the PFP guy over on Twitter X. It's Bo Time 88.
That's awesome, man.
Now,
Shout out to him. He's good.
yeah. Now, we have an alternate universe KingStyle that people might recognize.
Oh, absolutely.
This is
He's
one of my
very,
favorites.
very regal. This is what happens when you end up being in the Renaissance period.
Oh yeah, King in style.
Oh, absolutely, man. I was a poet, and also was a actor and a professional boxer and wrestler back then. Yeah, I
Oh.
had to pay. Look, acting did not make money back then. Unfortunately, you got to make extra cash, right?
And
And that,
now you're a superhero. Quite
yeah.
often,
I was a
quite
superhero slash pro wrestler, and it's fun. Because superheroes didn't technically exist back then; they were just known as heroes. And I
so.
did that too. I actually helped people. I was a knight while incognito. I had to get a special helmet, but
Once
like
we
Shrek
start
did.
getting some donations in, we're going to have an alternate version of our theme song where I'm working on, like, I've already storyboarded it and everything. It'll be similar to what we got going with the current theme song, but instead of it being set in the Old West, it's going to be set in the Knights of the Realm style. And I have this whole storyboard lined out where there's medieval versions of King and a medieval version of my character as well. Um,
Yep.
so as soon as we get some donations coming in, we will absolutely start with some new versions of our
Yeah,
theme
dude,
songs.
that could explain, like, in the Middle Age version, they you did some crimes, or you were accused of a crime you did not commit, and they did you in, unfortunately, but a magic witch, or a I don't know, what would it be, like,
A
I guess
wizard.
a cleric or a wizard or a holy knight that could do magic, basically saw that you were framed for a crime you did not commit. So they revived you, but unfortunately, they couldn't heal you completely. They only could heal your head part. The body was missing. They healed the body, but they took the body away somewhere else. And they noticed that it was
Oh.
alive, so an evil witch slash wizards kept it to themselves. They're like, holy shit, this thing's still alive. We're going to use it for evil deeds. And unfortunately, your mission is to get your body back and to fully be whole again.
That is very close to the actual origins of my character to a certain degree.
Well, this is the
Um,
medieval version or the
but it's the
Renaissance or the.
medieval Renaissance version. It's very close. Now, regarding my character, um, as a lot of people have come to guess, my character is based out of the Futurama storylines. And the original version of my character was this guy right here. And very much so hit that Matt Groening art. So much, in fact, that this is one of my favorite versions of my character, drawn by my former artist that used to do my art. Her name is Cream. Give her a follow if you ever find her. She is in my follow list on Twitter.
That's really good artwork right there.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces. Here's another piece that she did in chibi style. So when I'm in the chibi universe,
Hmm.
I look like this. Once again, if you guys want to support the channel and see that we and see like some of the stuff that we're putting together, some of help us potentially make a version of our characters in kind of like a comic book form or whatever, please support the channel. You can donate using Twitter X Money, which is kind of like Ko-fi, PayPal. Scan this link, this QR code right here, and you can donate to our channel. So that way we can do more. We can keep our production value up. We can make sure that there's no watermark on our channel, and we can keep using the stage that we're at. On top of that, bring you fun stuff. And we had spoke with our friend the collector, which we found out does toy making as well. He's part of a community that makes toys. Maybe one day we can get a KingStyle or Cowboy Dan toy that you guys can buy. Maybe an KingStyle action figure or a Cowboy Dan head in a jar keychain. Who knows? So feel free to donate to the channel. You can donate via X Money, or you can also donate via Ko-fi. And just feel free to scan those QR codes, and you can donate. Or you can go to our Twitter page where over at KJCowboyDan where you can donate there.
Oh yeah. By the way, the reason why I became the dominant fusion, they're the human, or the main fusion really, is because he had a real bad battle. This tiger god thing, um, this lion, this he is the god of felines. Basically, he really like he's the king, right? Like before he was a god, like he was royalty. It's kind of like the Egyptians. That's why the Egyptians love cats, right? And they treated them like gods. Well, he was a really known being. So like he was a king and then became a god and then he fought a real tough battle and due to the fact that his body was so weak from the battle and I wasn't, I was the dominant fusion, the dominant part of the fusion. So fortunately, if it was the other way around, I would have basically been dead. Uh, but hey, I got his ability, so I'm basically him now. So that's good.
The fusion. This
Dude,
would
we should
make
do that. We should do
it.
the Patara earring fusion thing. Like
Oh,
we should do
absolutely.
a version of my character with the earrings from Dragon Ball Z with the earrings on them to show like I just took them off. That's all I did. I just took the earrings off because there's no point. Even if I take it off or put it back on, it's not gonna change anything.
Once we get the funds together, we will be doing our best to come up with particular versions of our character in different forms that will eventually be merged into a comic book form, at least a digital comic that we can let everybody uh, read for our character origin stories.
The Middle
And
Age version of the character, though, it's kind of similar to the present one, basically. No, go ahead, dude. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, no, no. These are great concepts that we're going to try to actually make possible. Like I said, I really do want to eventually have like a faux comic book, or at least a digital comic that our viewers can go to and see. Yeah, I mean, imagine KingStyle, the feline of finesse. I joked about it the other night, but I've been putting a lot of thought into this for a minute, regarding a good minute, regarding getting everybody's origin stories down, getting everybody's plots, storylines down, and finding a way to make a cinematic universe, or at least a graphic novel universe that kind of puts everybody together, kind of like as a super team, kind of like the super friends of our streaming community. And
Absolutely, man. The Justice League, or the Justice Society of America. Like, when did they stop calling it? Like, that was the original title, right? Like,
yeah, the
Justice
Justice
Society
Society
of
was the
America.
original title, once they gave them a name, and those featured the Golden Age version of the characters.
Yeah, like it was weird because they used to be Justice Society or Justice Society of America. Then it was Justice. Wasn't it briefly Justice League of America? And then they just dropped the America part. They're
Yeah,
like,
just
yeah.
yeah, they did for a minute, just because people were getting lazy. I think fans
Well,
just
you
got.
know why? You know, also another reason, if they get somebody like, say, from Canada or like Mexico or like any other country, or like John, right? The Martian Manhunter. He's not American, so it
Well,
wouldn't make sense for him to be
you
American.
you know that both DC and Marvel, regarding their super teams, they have different versions of their teams for comic books that
Well, yeah,
that they print.
they had the Justice League Dark, which is essentially Justice League Magic, right? Or wizards, essentially. Like, they had Katana,
Well, I was
and
yeah, they do, but I was
they
also going
also
towards
had, what's his name, Constantine. Constantine's
right.
on the team.
Right, but they that like they have there's like for particularly for Marvel with the Avengers, they have a Canadian Avengers team. You know, they have Avengers teams scattered
Oh yeah, you're right. They do have a
about the
Canadian
world.
Avengers team. Yeah.
Also, the X-Men, they have Excalibur, which is the British take on the X-Men, and a few other teams scattered about the world. Ah, we got the collector popped right in to the chat. Are you? So you did it? I only destroyed the internet. A lot minor than the entire universe. Yes, I was responsible for the destruction of the universe, and it goes to show because of this image that was so greatly created by our friend Bo, the PFP guy. He showed that I was responsible for the
You're
destruction of the
so
world.
dangerous that they had to split your body in half. And they had to. They had to basically scatter your parts. And the alternate evil version, they cut your pieces. You know, they did that in one of the Egyptian stories for Heru. You know what I'm talking about, where his father died, and basically he was brought back to life, kind of, but like as a new being from a set, right? Like,
Yes,
and so this is technically an origin story for Heru, even though in reality he was just his father. Oh my god, what was his father's name? I think it was Horus. Was it Horus? I
I
think it was
think so.
Horus. I think it was Horus. Horus died.
My Egyptian lore is very
Yeah, Horus died.
is very much based off of a lot of like TV shows from the 70s, and those animation were really popular back then.
Yeah, so apparently, like, he died, right, fighting Set, and his mother was like, oh no, Osiris. Osiris died, right? He died, and then he was reborn as Heru, and then he had to get the wisdom of Tehuti, which is basically Hermes for us, right? Hermes Augustus, right? And Hermes gave him the wisdom. How did you defeat Set? Because they kept fighting, and it was a draw. Every time they fought was a standstill. But think Vin Diesel and The Rock in the Fast and the Furious movies. They somehow have a draw every fucking time. And then he got the wisdom and he finally defeated Set. And that's Heru's origin story. There
You
you
know,
go. Egyptian god origin story right there. You
and
want to talk about
so
Hercules? You want to do Hercules?
we'll probably talk about Hercules. Absolutely. So first, real quick, with my character, since we're talking about character lore, right? So my character, the whole concept when we created it, I'm a fan of Matt Groening art. I'm a fan of Matt Groening comics, and Matt Groening for what 35, almost 40 years, 30 plus years he's been rocking his comic stuff out, and with Bongo Comics, and he was doing he did the animations for the Tracy Ullman Show, which brought us The Simpsons. And now, like, what, 38 seasons of The Simpsons, including what they've been putting out for Disney Plus. And Disney Plus has announced a new Simpsons show that's for the kids, based around the kids and their school life. We have Futurama, and we have Disenchanted, all set in the same universe. And
Yep.
I focus more so on the Futurama stuff, although have to admit, since Futurama went to Halo, I mean not Halo, Hulu. Since Futurama went to Hulu, I paid less attention, especially since they canceled the series like 3 times and brought it back like 3 times. Um,
Which is probably the best thing for Futurama because it would just be stale. Look, I like The Simpsons, but it would be stale like The Simpsons right now. Like Simpsons, if it wasn't for the new movie coming out in a year from now, would anybody like, oh my god, The Simpsons, right? It'd have to be like a big celebrity like Al Pacino or like Brad Pitt to actually be on the show where people are invested to
well,
watch the show.
The Simpsons and Futurama both had a lot of big stars that did
Oh no, they
voices.
did, they did. But I'm saying like now, like you would have to bring back the magic, as you will, right? You'd have to like reinvent the wheel, such bring back some of the magic with nostalgia. Enough like Cobra Kai style. You have to do it in such a way where it's not a bait and switch. You don't trick your audience to think that it's something different. Like they did like a an episode like a couple seasons ago where Homer and Marge divorced each other, and I'm like, why are you doing that? We know you're not going to do that. Why would you fake it? Like it was a dream that Homer had at a therapy. I'm like, don't do that. Like I'm sorry. Like this is an important role. If you're
There
not going to do it, don't tease it.
there came to a point when Fox ended up removing Matt Groening from his own product and just putting his name on there. And they started writing these shows like via committee. And
Mhm.
they stopped being accurate to their own lore and their own lore Bible. Now, a lot of people will say that like there are certain things that and Matt Groening even said it himself. We don't know whether or not these characters, their lore is going to be consistent or not, just because of the town they live in, Springfield. Now, Matt Groening, he did say that he based the town Springfield off of the town in Oregon that he grew up in, and that was Springfield, Oregon. But he wanted to use Springfield because Springfield was also a town that almost every state has a Springfield. So they were able to make the joke in the series over and over again, where is Springfield? And it became a regular running gag. And the origins of The Simpsons right there, is a lot of these characters are based on people that Matt Groening actually knew. Real quick, Theta from Nerd Archaeology is in chat. He says, "Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. God bless. I need to get an action figure of my character." And the Theta Ranger, yeah, maybe one day we'll all get ourselves action figures. And I will get you in contact and give you the email address to the collector, and possibly our whole community can probably work together about getting a action figure set. Who knows?
Yeah, and they won't just be regular figurines like statues, basically like plastic statues.
Oh
Like
yeah.
basically Funko Pops, basically Funko Pops. It actually be able to move arms and legs and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah. Full on. We saw some of the prototype. He showed us one of the prototypes that he was working on um, for one of the toys he was working on. It was pretty cool looking. And also kind of brought you back to old days. Shout out to the collector, because not only is he a collector, but he's a jack of all trades, doctor, collector, toy maker, educator. The man has multiple talents, just like we all do in this around here. We got to do many things in order to survive. Now, so back to my character before we go back to King, is my character did once have a body, obviously, in order to become a head in a jar. The origins of my character is I am one of the first living heads in a jar. I was the one of the experimental prototypes of preserving a head live in a jar.
what was the
And
reason why your head was in a jar? Is it
I,
because your body was failing and they're like, well, we gotta
well,
preserve.
we follow Futurama lore on
Okay,
that.
okay,
So how I went from body to head in a jar is very much unknown. We're gonna leave that to the fans to like come up with fan canon for that. As over the last couple of years that I've been rocking the head in a jar, we have had the concept of um, whether or not I am. Um, whether or not I am, hold on a second. My character keeps on looking in the wrong direction for some reason. That is weird.
oh my god, it's almost like you got possessed. It's almost like the experiment went wrong.
Yeah. So whether or not I am, so to speak, uh, a head in a jar because I donated my body to science or whatever. I go by Futurama lore, which they're clones of the original heads. And so like all the head in the jars, they're not the original. So like the Richard Nixon, he's not the original Richard Nixon, he's a clone of Richard Nixon. And so that's how the lore of Futurama goes, is all the heads are clones of the originals. And they just happen to have their memories to a certain degree. As you can tell, they're warped forms of the memories. And so like they have their own storyline on top of being a cloned head. And so I was one of the prototypes. Now, whether or not some fan lore that's come up over the years is people like to come up with different ideas on how I lost my body. So I always say that they're different multiverses of the Cowboy Dan character. In some multiverses, maybe I never did lose my body, even with the when I do my Minecraft gameplay, I have a version of my character as well from Minecraft where my body has a my body has a robotic body that for my Minecraft avatar. And I designed the body for my Minecraft avatar, um, to be like kind of like a cyborg type character with the jar on top. And so eventually here's my Minecraft avatar right here. As you can see, the jar right there up on top, and then some robotic body. So we came up with some lore that when I came to in a science lab, I was met with a scientist who was responsible for making the heads in the jar. Now, as to who that scientist was, we don't know. Some people, Futurama fans who've watched me in the past, has said it was Farnsworth himself.
Good news, everyone. Dude, I had a
And
buddy that sounded like a younger version of Professor Farnsworth, so I was always asking, "Hey, dude, say it, say it, say it." Good news, everyone. I'm like, he's fucking hilarious.
that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Thank you, thank you. I probably
And
because I copied him doing it. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome.
so once we came up with the concept for my Minecraft avatar, because it would look just awkward for just a floating head, or floating blockhead in Minecraft. We built the body. I built the body myself using one of those Minecraft skin editors, and well, how do I go from being a jar, as you can see on my screen, to a jar that has a body? Well, my jar has an AI installed, and the AI is called jar, J dot A dot R.
Wow.
Yeah. And she is not exactly a friendly AI. She's rude to me. She's virtually Jarvis with a attitude. But when it comes to me having to get moved around in certain realities, when it comes to me getting moved around in certain realities, I have like the ability to control certain tech. You see a robotic body, a mannequin that might have digital capabilities, and Jar, she will control that body to be my digital body. If I'm not in a reality that has that, then I have to be carried around by somebody like King and placed on a shelf or whatever.
And it has to be used by magic. We have to use magic for you to survive.
Well, there is
Because
probably a bit of magic in some realities. There's magic involved.
well, if we're in the Renaissance period slash middle, medieval times, you're not going to have cybernetic equipment unless somebody from the futures or people from the future accidentally gets trapped and are like, well, I guess we could use this technology, but we can't go back in time. I think the magic stuff might be more accurate, but hey, what do I know, right? You're muted.
So I was just no, I was reading chat and I was laughing at chat. So the collector says if he gets too rebellious, King and I could show you how to uh, counterminate his water without proof. Proof. Yeah, if I get too,
Uh-oh.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
put
because
something in the water in the jar.
whoops. Looks
Um,
like he drowned. Uh,
uh, I think that's why eventually some of the renditions of me actually have a lid on the jar. Kind of like this one right there. There's a lid, and it's bolted down. You can't put anything in there. Then you have to drill it out.
I guess unless it's like a Star Trek technology where you could warp stuff or teleport stuff inside the jar with special well, whatever type of device it would have to be to press a button for it to work, right? I'd imagine that could be done. Like, look, if people in Star Trek can teleport out of a spaceship, imagine somebody can have a device where they could teleport or put something inside your jar for you, or for a fish tank, for that matter.
So the collector says, I know a scientist that does that. You can find him in an 80s manga cartoon named Captain Future. He has a name, but mostly goes as the professor. Chances are, hi, he made me. Well,
Mm.
there's I've always figured that my character does belong in an isekai universe to a certain degree, especially with part of the storyline that's been given. Now, regarding magics, the original lore, a pink fairy, kind of like I had added a little bit of Pinocchio to the original lore. So the scientist who put my head in a jar and made me the jar head that you know today. That scientist one day went to do some things and left me alone in the his laboratory, and I had found myself from the jar looking around the room, and I saw all the tech, all the things, all these futuristic gadgets that I was not familiar with. And I did not know what to do. A little existential crisis. While this existential crisis, I stole from Pinocchio, and instead of a blue fairy, there was a pink fairy. And the pink fairy gave my AI sentience and opened up a portal to an alternate universe. And when I'm around certain characters that have magic of certain kinds, particularly those of universal teleportation of sorts, I'm able to go from one realm to another, from the cartoon realm to the CG realm to like a Pixar universe. And somehow that's how I met this guy, the one we call KingStyle.
Oh, absolutely. That's how we met each other. And also in the medieval version, I accidentally ended up in a time warp where I fell into the past where that feline god fought the same being that he fought. I think it was a dog god or something like that. They fought each other. It wasn't pretty. Um, and again, he got weak. I found the earring, and then I fused with him again. But this time, I'm stuck in the Middle Ages slash like. I mean, I could time travel out, but he's mad at me, so he's not letting me use his powers yet until he can fully. He wants me to survive, obviously, because he died too, right? It's kind of like Naruto with
Okay.
the nine tail fox. The nine tail fox wants Naruto to live because he wants to live. That's the only reason why he's keeping him alive. He's not like keeping him because he cares for him, in particularly. He's like, dude, if he dies, well, guess what? I died because we're fused together. So we're basically one being now. Yep, we're one being. And by the way, he also has a human form or like a humanoid looking form. It's not just the cat god appearance. That's when he goes beast mode or cat mode, right? When he gets that extra strength to fight his most dangerous enemies.
So depending on what realm our characters are within, and
Absolutely.
the way I've written kind of like the storyline, we find ourselves in the Cowboys and Kings storyline. And the Cowboys
Mm.
and Kings storyline, while it might start off with a medieval uh,
Or
kings there, or I'm
or we
there.
just met each other randomly in the present timeline. It all depends because it's multiverse and it's insane. Like it's insane
It,
lore, dude.
Same lore,
100%.
insanity, however you want to look at it. Ultimately, I have the ultimate storyline for me and King, and it's a buddy cop film.
Yeah, we ended up saying screw it. We'll team up together and we'll
And,
put our abilities together to make the world a better place and make our lives easier.
So we end up in a comic book universe, ultimately, giving us the ability to be buddy cops in one universe, or maybe just another storyline.
Yeah,
You know,
similar to Last Action Hero, we somehow are like, hey, we can do this. Let's
and
go and
so
kick ass.
we have the buddy cop option that we have, and we went through multiple ideas, and each one of our thumbnails that we've done, I imagine us in either a different universe or a different aspect of the storyline. And we are currently in the what you're witnessing right now in the long run is not the buddy cop universe, but you're witnessing the Cowboys and Kings podcast universe where we are doing a podcast together.
Yeah,
And
we're doing a show and we're just talking our minds out.
each of our thumbnails, whether it be uh, superheroes and our origin stories, each one of these universes are a different version of us or the same version of us, depending on how you want to look at it. By the way, once we get some donations coming through, once again, I am going to take each one of our thumbnails and I'm going to be doing a slideshow transition where we animate each of the thumbnails and have them morph into the next thumbnail after the next thumbnail. And I've written some background music for it already. It's going to be great. Hopefully everybody gets a chance to donate to the channel. If you do get a chance to donate to the channel, you can go to ko-fi.com/KJCowboyDan if you want to donate to the channel. That'd be awesome. And with Ko-fi, the link is in the description. So feel free to donate if you possibly can. Any amount gets our content a little further. Now I realized that we kind of rambled on about my character's origins and how I came up with the character. How did you come up with the character for KingStyle?
Well, I am a huge fan of wrestling, pro wrestling. Big fan of video games, particularly fighting video games, because this character is actually based off of fighting video games, right? Slash beat 'em ups, because in certain video games with Tekken lore, they do have a beat 'em up stage. So this guy is loosely based off of Armor King, and mostly his appearance is based off of Armor King, but he is actually lore wise is regular King, and the name King Style, because there was a wrestler in Japan. His name's Shinsuke Nakamura. He's in WWE now. He went by the name King of Strong Style, right? And he would wear a crown or a cape to the ring like a king, because that was his gimmick. He was like a parody of Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury, right? Whenever he did the gimmick, but he really punched a king. He was a former MMA fighter too, as well. And so the monarchy, King of Strong Style, because the wrestling style in New Japan Pro Wrestling that he was at the time is called Strong Style. So, and then there was another wrestler named AJ Styles, phenomenal one. You probably heard of him, Dan. He really is who he says he is. He's phenomenal. He moves fast in the ring. He does crazy moves that like people never seen before. This guy was great. He retired recently, but I don't think he's gonna retire permanently because his son got into wrestling, named Avery Styles. So I don't think it's gonna be a permanent retirement, because I think they might do a tag team similar to Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio. Um. Anyway, so AJ Styles, I just took the S out of Styles and just put Style. So King, right? King, Strong Style, King from Tekken, Armor King, right? Style, and there you go, King Style.
Well, we went through a lot of versions of your character. Your traditional character was KingStyle from Tekken. And when we're trying to come up with an original creation, so that way we can have multiple versions of you, I think we went through probably about 10 or 15 different versions of
Yeah.
you.
And not
And
and not for nothing, the name King Style again, like, and the other reason is just it's a cool name, King Style,
oh
style of the
yeah.
king. That's literally so you have all those things, and that's why I call myself King Style because it's fucking cool.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm also known as King Style 96 or 13 King Style. So, but it's in the end, it's just King Style. It doesn't really matter. It's all the names. It just leads to this name. It's fine. It's a cool name. So yeah, you're right. I we came up multiple iterations of the design because we didn't want to outright copy the Tekken character version of that for obvious reasons. Go ahead, Dan. You go and
No, we did. We went through multiple different versions of the King style design. And I mean, before we got to the version right here that you see before you, we came up with multiple different ideas. I was trying my hardest to come up with the perfect king style, some of which were a little too uh, powerful to say. Some of them were a little powerful, and some of them were a little weak. The one version that we stuck with matches my character a little bit more with a more Pixar-y style animation, for my current character. One version was like very like old school, like road warriors meets Masters of the Universe.
which we could probably go back to later if we wanted to.
Well,
I'm not
I know we're going to go back to that when we can do a couple wrestling episodes, and we're gonna.
wrestling slash maybe we could do Road Warriors or like stories like Road Warriors esque
Oh
because
yeah.
not for nothing like or if we talk about He Man because that's clearly based off of He Man as well. So there are like multiple things we could
For
reintroduce
the
the
life of me,
design.
I can't find that image. I found it the other day, and now I can't find it. But I really wanted to show it off. But
Also, one of these days we should go back to like the original design, at least the color wise, so it could be like a orangey yellow color that we had before. So that
oh,
way it could change between light and dark. And then
we
I was
have
think
multiple
yeah.
variants of the King style
Yeah,
that we
because I was
tried.
thinking we could do a storyline where they either split from each other, so the yin and yang half,
Well,
and they basically fight each other.
as one of our thumbnails, and you've seen it, you've also seen the image in our trailer. There is a alternate version of King style, the yellow tiger, or the
Yep,
yellow
the
leopard.
yellow slash orangey tiger, which he looks a little bit cutesy on the head, but you know what? That's fine. This is and I was thinking like we could probably bring back the design a little bit later as a counterpart slash enemy or rival because they split from each other, and that split version could be the partially of the God Cat character that I was telling you about, right? That
So that's another version of the character right here. We also had this version where I gave
mhm.
him sleeveless shirt. Still a little too cutesy.
It looks too cutesy, but it also looks a little weird because I don't know, like I'd never seen a furry, you know what I mean, like a dress shirt with fur arms, like maybe that does exist, maybe in cartoons that had anthropomorphic animals, like a regular show or Mickey Mouse stuff or whatever.
So once we got
You
around
know,
to like going, okay, well, I wanted you to hit kind of like what we use for one version of me as the more Pixar animation style, like not this version that's on screen, but one of my the ones I use for the thumbnails. We went with something more on this model, and which brought us to this model right here, which is the current model that we are currently using for King Style. And we have went through multiple different renditions before we decided to go with that one. This was one of my favorites, though, because this one right here we used in a fight animation sequence that's in our opening credits. The collector says, "King, I received a huge package of Lucha Libre socks today with classic characters like Santo."
El Santo
uh,
and Mil Mascaras, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, you like this one the best? So do I. This is my favorite, and this is the one that I want to see an action figure made out of. If we can get like this as an action figure of King,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
you know, I did
I,
come up with a couple action with some toy concepts in the past for King as well.
I'd like to make alternate colors or alternate versions of them. That way, it's like technically different people or different iterations of like basically like like you have Flash and Negative Flash, right?
Right.
Like kind of like that. That way, technically they're the same person, but they're different people and they're rivals. Like Sonic and Shadow, right? Originally, the idea was it was supposed to be a Sonic clone or something that looked like Sonic but evil and darker, and then it just morphed into what Shadow is now. Um, so something similar to that. Because every hero character or character in general has to have a rival, right? That's par for the course when it comes to storylines like that, right?
Yeah.
What would be your rival, Dan? Who would be your enemy? Who would be your like? Would it be like the evil version of you, which is like essentially like what would he be? Clean shaven version of not wearing glasses, clean shaven, uh, wearing a odd job like bull hat. Right? What would exactly that be?
So I had this like thought process once of like what happens like say for example, let's say I was in an alternate universe where my body was removed and my head was removed and split into two different parts. I had a alternate theory that like my body, another head was attached to my body, and that person who controlled my body was my arch nemesis. And in
Oh,
that
okay,
case,
because he lost his body, so he's like, screw it, I'll take the second best option and take this
yeah,
over.
yeah. So he found my body and had some sort of probably magic power or something that attached his body to mine, and my jar, who happened to be able to control robotic bodies, I had uh, I. I have to fight against him, and he's my arch nemesis. This character that controls my body, while I have to use a robotic body when there's availability of robotics.
Yeah, cybernetics, robotics are really important to keep people alive because you'd be dead, right? You wouldn't survive unless magic was involved, right? Uh, or you were immortal, essentially. Like you drank the sacred elixir and your body just did not reattach with your head. So yeah,
There are
depending on
some
the situation.
versions there are some versions. I mean, I tried making up, different versions of my robotic body, one of which kinda resembled Krang from, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I didn't like that option.
Speaking of Krang, can I just say this? Look, I love the 2003 Ninja Turtle series, but I did not like that Shredder was a Krang being. I hated that retcon. They only did that so they could look like they killed Shredder without killing Shredder. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, that storyline was,
like it was
well,
cool. I understand why they did it. It should have been explained that like I hated the idea that Shredder was Krang the whole like a variant of Alien Krang. And I'm like, that is so dumb. I'm sorry. I prefer an evil magic wizard ninja over or a godlike ninja that fell and became the Shredder or was a reincarnation of a god and that became Shredder over he's an alien being that was a criminal who was the Shred. I'm like, that is so dumb. Like, that doesn't fit the Shredder's character at all. How would he, like, seriously, how would he go by pretending to be a human being? They didn't have the technology back then for that. I know
No,
he crash landed Earth. Maybe he used the ship parts, but it's like, even then, it's like, how did nobody notice that he was off?
yeah, that
That's a plot
storyline.
hole. That's a plot hole right there. It's like, wait a minute, he wouldn't be able to know how to act human.
That storyline was okay, and then it just like got to that point, and then I'm like, no, no, okay. I dropped the series. I had to drop the series.
I
I
liked the
was
2003 series. There were certain points that I liked and didn't like. Like, I didn't like that they kind of retcon the lore. Like, I thought they were gonna almost do everything in the comics, right? They
right.
kind of did, but like, because I like the violence. That's look. The original Ninja Turtle cartoon is a classic, but I love 2003 not only because it came from my generation, but also because it's the closest thing to a Ninja Turtles comic book series. That's the original Ninja Turtles movie that we got. Except for the blood and people like being decapitated and killed, but
Oh
like
yeah,
they showed almost everything. Dude, look at Baxter Stockman, how he was tortured and abused. Like, dude, that's like the darkest stuff that you'd see in a cartoon. I'm serious. He would lose an eye, he would lose a hand, he'd lose a finger. Every time he failed, they literally butchered him. And then he got fed up. He became a headless brain thing. Remember that? And then he tried
yeah.
to
It was
reanimate himself. Dude, he became a zombie. His organs started to fail and shit. Dude, that episode, by the way, was banned. You can't watch that on normal television because it was too grotesque for children.
it was that whole storyline. Like I said, the storyline started out well, but then like I feel like they jumped the shark, and like by halfway through the season, it was not my
Your
cup of
cup of
tea.
tea. Because
Yeah.
it to me, it was the true, minus the headbands, right? Those are the featured artists, right?
Yeah, this is one of
Fortnite.
my featured artists from last year. This is one that was drawn for me by Black Alpha Wolf. Imagining me going uh, Dragon Ball
Super
style.
Saiyan. Yeah,
Yeah,
Super Saiyan hair
yeah,
and all. Yeah.
yeah. So like, just wanted to show that one off because we were. Um, I was looking for another image, but I found that one, and I just remembered that last year this Black Alpha Wolf did this for me. It was a pretty interesting version to me. Really, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. I was gonna say though, the Ninja Turtles cartoon to me that is the best. When it started, of course, the origin wise was the best iteration of their origin story for a cartoon because they actually showed how they did had an episode. Remember when they were baby turtles? Remember that? And when
Yep.
the Master Splinter, this was not the Hamada Yoshi one where he fuses with his pet rat or a
Right.
random rat. No, this is his pet rat that Hamada Yoshi dies in the original iterations. Now it's canon because Paramount, owns them now, and it's too violent for their liking that Hamada Yoshi never died. That in reality he merged with his pet rat or a random rat from the sewers, from the ooze, and he becomes Master Splinter from that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you prefer the light censored version of essentially Master Splinter's? Because technically in the clean censored one, he's Hamada Yoshi. In
Right.
the uncensored one, Hamada Yoshi's dead. He's just a rat that learned martial arts. I prefer. It makes more sense that it's Hamada Yoshi because how would a rat be able to physically know how to punch and kick and stuff? You know what I mean? He wasn't like a giant rat like the Ninja Turtles, right? So he
Right.
wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
He wouldn't have the so even though I don't like censorship particularly that much, it makes more sense that Hamada Yoshi turned into a rat. He became Master Splinter.
It
because
does.
of yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does. It makes more sense. So I think there's a little bit of validity to each different lore. If you look at it as like kind of just like alternate universe takes, um, like okay, let's rats and mice are very intelligent creatures, um, but at the same time, uh, when dealing with the cartoon versions, the comic book version from the original Eastman and Laird, even the movie version, there are differences that they make, and once again, suspension of disbelief. Also, like it goes
Right.
to which version do you prefer? Like for me, like they all have their validities to a certain degree. I am pretty much an Eastman and Laird lorist, but at the same time, if we want to talk about like the cartoons, like I. I loved the cartoons. I grew up on the cartoons, and
I like
also
the cartoons as well.
the Archie comics as well. And then we got the 1990 movie, and
Mhm. Which again, it's basically the closest. Obviously, they took a little elements from the cartoon because of their colored bandanas, right? And then Master Splinter. No, actually, Master Splinter is Master Splinter. He's not Hamada Yoshi.
right,
So
he's the rat from the
from the
rat, not
comics,
from
he's
the
the rat
comics.
from the
Yeah,
comics
right.
that becomes Master Splinter. Whereas in the cartoon, in a different iteration, I'm a middle person. I'm okay with the original version where they all wore red bandanas, such it was in black and white slash the cartoon one. I'm for the middle thing, like the middle ground, basically what the 2003 series was slash the movie, like a good middle ground, and sometimes maybe put Hamada Yoshi as Splinter. I am okay with that if you have to do that, right?
Yeah,
Because like I said, like unless the rat was a giant rat and he learned how to do the kung fu stuff, and he was like a ninja turtle without being a ninja turtle, and he learned the stuff from Hamada Yoshi and he can talk, I could believe that. He didn't. He was just a rat,
he was just a rat.
and it
But
didn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense. So I prefer Hamada Yoshi turning into the rat, and not only that, but it's less sadder that Hamada Yoshi dies slash he never knew his daughter Karai, right? Like he dies and basically Karai, depending on the storyline, his daughter never knew him, right?
no, he didn't. They didn't know
Whereas
each other.
in certain iterations, she finds out that Master Splinter is Hamada Yoshi and she wants to connect with him. And I like that. I prefer that.
Like I said, each different rendition of that series has its unlike a lot of other series. I'm looking at Masters of the Universe, but
Mm-hmm.
where Masters of the Universe, like they for the most part hit until you get like two particular series like the New Adventures of He-Man, which
Well,
takes
uh,
place in a futuristic world on another planet.
well, originally He-Man was just He-Man. He wasn't Prince Adam. In the comics, he was the original comics that came with the toys and the comic books. He was just He Man. Prince Adam wasn't a thing until the cartoon.
Well, they had to do some lore building, but they also He-Man is whoever the sword chooses, and kind of like the ring in with the Green Lantern. You know, the sword is destined to somebody in each generation.
And by the way, that speaking of Green Lantern, we gotta have to talk about the original Green Lantern since we're doing origin stories of before there was Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, right? You had a whole different iteration of Green Lantern, you know? Like this
Oh yeah.
one was dressed in red. He wore a face mask. His weakness, I believe, was wood. Or no, it was wood. It wasn't yellow. Yellow is the weakness of the current.
The is the current lore for the Green Lanterns, and I've always hated that
Yeah,
when it comes
Alan
down to link
Scott.
weakness.
Alan Scott
Alan Scott, the original Green
was the
Lantern.
original Green Lantern before the other ones. Before like his costume was way different. It was red. That's where the Guardians wear. That's why the Guardians wear their outfits. That's red. It's a nod or homage to the original Green Lantern outfit.
Part of the reason why I didn't like the Green Lantern movie, and I really love the Green Lantern movie. Don't get me wrong, I mean, but they put Hal Jordan off as the first Green Lantern in that
Which is
movie.
stupid. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. I think they should have done an origin story of Alan Scott first. And if you kill him off in the first/second movie, or he just ends, you could retcon it and say his Green Lantern ring was the prototype ring from the Guardians. Like it was the Guardians ring. It was an older version of the Guardians ring that accidentally came to Alan Scott. Right?
So yeah,
You could
real
do you could retcon that in there. Go
Oh
ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, so they did. So real quick, the collector is giving you something that slightly validates what you're saying about He-Man. He-Man was a raw barbarian in Conan style originally, and Tila was introduced as an ancient and pretty bloodthirsty green goddess.
Yep.
Yeah, originally, yeah. And then they retconned it to where the Sword of Power was like one generation got the Sword of Power.
And then they retcon it again,
They
saying that
retconned it multiple
anybody,
times.
yeah, they like anybody as long as you know
Well, and even
the
with
power by the
introducing
power of Grayskull, right? You
right.
gotta you
And
gotta
so they
comprehend that.
retconned it again, kind of enforcing the Sword of Power being handed off to a generation, the one that was destined with the twin sister of He-Man that was Shira. And so what she was actually a villainess as well in her origins. She was a commander of the Horde army. Shira was a commander of the Horde army under a spell and kidnapped from Prince Adam's family. Um, so and by retconning confirmed the Sword of Power retcon where like once in a generation, and you kind of get that whole origin line in a lot of storylines. Once in a generation. Once in a
Well,
generation. You get that with Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yep.
Once in a generation, a Slayer is born. You know,
And then it got retcon when they did Angel,
well,
which, and I like Angel. Don't get me wrong, I like Angel, but that whole concept, because they didn't know they were gonna do Angel, right? They had no idea it was going to be popular. That Spike
oh,
was going to be
so the
popular.
retcon with Once in a Generation, a Slayer is born was because they kept on killing Buffy off. And so every time they killed Buffy off, another Slayer was born. And so Buffy was the original Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing. Um,
Yep. And not only that, but since we're talking about like dark stuff, can we talk about the mask? Right.
sure.
The Jim. Well, it's known as the mask now, but back in the day, it was known as the mask or the Green Man or Big Head in the Dark Horse comic lore. Right. The character Stanley Ipkiss was a real character that was from the comics. Jim Carrey didn't. They didn't create a new character for Jim Carrey. They
No, no.
altered his personality. The original Stanley Ipkiss was a nerdy, shy guy who didn't, he didn't have a cool life. He had a shitty life. He didn't get appreciation from nobody. Similar to Stanley Ipkiss, like they toned it down a lot in the movie version, but he wasn't a lovable loser or whatever. No, he was a complete loser. Uh, Nobody respected him, not even his girlfriend. Or I don't even think he even had a girlfriend prior to that. Until
No,
he
they added the girlfriend scenarios for the movie.
No, I think he
Uh,
had one that because he died in the comic by his girlfriend. That's what I'm saying. That like so maybe they changed it at some point. He became popular
there
enough.
was multiple retcons with that.
Yeah, because he was just a loser. He was just a loser. He didn't have
Once
anybody.
they once Ipkiss got the mask in the comics, that's when he became more of confident in himself.
Yeah, he became confident, but the thing was he was really evil, dude. Like he wasn't the anti-hero or good guy in the movie slash the cartoon from the Adventures of the Mask. He was not like that. And then after that, they made that version of the mask because of the popularity of the movie and cartoon. So they basically changed the lore of the original version of the mask. You could say there's two versions: the movie version slash the cartoon that became the lighthearted mask that wore the yellow suit, and then the one that was like evil. He killed people. He had no remorse. Um, yeah, like he always, and he had a Frankenstein, like what was the name of that Frankenstein monster that would like fight him? You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about. You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about, right?
They
I
kind
forgot
of
his name right now. Like that was
yeah.
his enemy in the comics.
Yeah, they retconned him to be the gangster in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they kept kind of the same art style when they animated him with the mask in the movie.
Yeah, and in the cartoon though, that enemy that's in the comics, he actually appears in the cartoons. Remember, Dan? He actually he can't even wear the mask. He tries to put it on. It just doesn't work because he has supernatural abilities. And the origin story of the Green Mask or Big Head or whatever, it comes from the Nordic gods, right,
Yeah,
Dan?
yeah,
It comes from that.
he was a Nordic demon.
Yeah,
The
the
mask
the
itself.
mask the mask itself came from a Nordic god slash demon that the mask he made it for himself. He loved him and he put
Right.
his own
Yeah.
powers
So
in the mask for
yeah.
chaos and mischief.
Right. So he was the demon
I
of
think it was
chaos and
Loki. I
mischief.
think it was
Yeah.
Loki though.
It
Actually,
might have
I believe it's Loki.
in one version I think it was Loki. Originally though, I think it was a different character that they made
Because
up.
look, unfortunately, I saw the Son of the Mask, so they kind of expanded the lore a little bit
The
in
Son of
the
the Mask
version.
was with the
They talk
expanded
about the
more
gods.
lore
They
there,
talk
but
about the gods part is all I care about.
I
Go
really
ahead, Dan.
didn't like
Sorry.
the Son of the Mask. But
I
they
didn't
did
like it either, but at least they expand the gods. At least they showed the two gods, the father and son duo, the
right.
dad, his father, and the one who actually made the mask. So I
Yeah.
like that. I
Uh,
like that they expanded it a little bit. That was the
the
only thing I liked
storyline
about it. Yeah.
the storyline of the mask though had a lot of retcons even in the comic books. And now the mask is kind of like set out to be like kind of like they set it up as like miniseries now. They bring it back every once in a while. Dark Horse Comics, which has the rights to the mask, they're not doing too well. And for those people who have been following the Dark Horse Comics thing, it's unfortunate because
Yeah, the
they
founder. They fired the founder, one of the founders of Dark Horse. They
the
fired him.
founder and creator of Dark Horse Comics.
They fired him. They took
Yep.
him out of the board. He was the fucking boss of the company. They removed him from power.
Oh, to
That's terrible.
make things worse, they Dark Horse Comics even had their own comic book shops. There was 3 left by last year. 3 Dark Horse comic shops left by last year. And then they closed down the Portland, Oregon one. Now they just closed down the Universal Walk one. And so now there's 0 Dark Horse Comics locations left, where they had locations where you can buy comic books.
So there were
And
two, right? But where were
there
the
was
other
3
ones?
altogether. There was 3 altogether by last year.
Yeah,
There was a handful
but you
before that.
mentioned two though. You only
I don't
mentioned
know where
two.
the
So
other one was. I just know that
okay,
that was
okay,
the
okay.
first to close down.
Oh,
Then
okay.
the
Because I'm
one that
like,
I
wait a
don't
minute. Okay.
yeah, that was of the 3 that were left by last year. That the first one that closed down. I don't know where that was at. But and then they had the Universal City Walk one in California and the Universal City Walk one in Florida, and they closed both of those down at the same time. They closed down the one in Portland just recently, which was the final one that closed down, which was really sad because it was one of the locations where kind of like for those people who are um, kind of like doing like comic book nerd heritage walk. You kind of want to like. There's a few people like me. When I go to a new town or whatever, I look up the comic book shops, and I like to go to the comic book shops, and I would try to find the biggest and best comic book shops, which are hard to find now. Big comic book shops now they've merged with LGSs and tabletop gaming locations and collector shops, and the comic book collections that you can thumb through the long boxes have virtually disappeared. Pretty much, comic book shops are looking like Best Buy did when they started eliminating DVDs, and
Which
it's
is a
getting
big mistake. It's a big mistake. By
it
the way,
is.
Dan.
And we're worried about. We talked about this on the morning show a couple weeks ago, um, and so I'm pretty much. A lot of us comic book fans are kind of worried that that print might be very, very limited. Sorry, they've already started limiting the runs of a lot of these comic books, and uh, the collector price is going up just to buy the comics, just because you can't get them on spinner racks anymore. Very rare do you find comic books on a spinner rack at a supermarket. And so you have to go to a comic book shop or subscribe to get these comic books. The collector wants to point out that print isn't dying. Actually, it's coming back stronger than ever, sir. That's not what we're seeing here in the States, though. Print, they're going to keep print, and print's probably going to come back stronger in other places. But in the States, they're dying off. Comic book shops are disappearing.
You're
fast.
probably gonna get like a wall. This is how they're gonna probably survive. It's gonna be like a GameStop / a Walmart like store where they're gonna sell a whole bunch of comic book stuff, but include like trading cards, cartoons, like basically sell like cartoon series for movies or television shows and stuff like that, or video games to keep it afloat. That's probably what they're gonna have to evolve something like that, or merchandise
Oh,
like T-shirts.
oh,
Go ahead.
absolutely. But here in the
T-shirts,
States,
costumes. That's what they're gonna have to do, Dan. Right? Like
oh
they're
yeah.
probably gonna do that. That's
Uh,
the only way they're gonna survive / reinvent the wheel, quote unquote.
Well,
That's what
they're
they're
going to
gonna
have to
do
find a way. They're going to have to find a way. Here in
because
the
they,
States, though,
yeah.
it's not as prominent as it is other places.
Mm-hmm.
And the collector points out once again that he pointed out the other night that in Mexico, the print comic books are making a boom right now. And there's a lot of places in other countries that they are making a boom. Absolutely. But unfortunately, we're not seeing that in the United States. We're seeing the comic book shops closing down one by one. We're seeing Marvel Comics has made a agreement with Webtoons, and they've already merged multiple lines to Webtoons. And Webtoons does not specialize in the type of comics that we see in American print. And so, like, if you've read the Bat Family, it's more of a spice of life comic that they've put out on Webtoons. It has nothing to do with the Batman stuff at all. It is like your standard anime spice of life. While that's a good concept, and I like the spice of life stuff, I don't think it fits well with the comic books. Maybe for certain manga, yes, but unfortunately not. And Marvel has also announced that they're cutting their production line on American comics down to what they're going to print. Their titles, Marvel wants to focus primarily on titles that they're currently using for their live action media and cartoon media, which means these other comics that we read for generations are being put on the back burner. Once again, they've canceled yet once again Silver Surfer. He's no longer in print. And last print that they did with Silver Surfer was a mini series. So like I'm hoping with the Fantastic Four being brought back in Marvel for the cinematic universe, they bring him back, but most likely they're going to bring him back in the female form that they did for this Silver Surfer movie. And I'm very concerned about this, and a lot of people here are. Uh,
It's like they didn't have to do a female Silver Surfer, but they wanted to. They did. They don't care what the fans want.
I agree with you, Collector. Hopefully, the people will want the real stuff. I do. Hopefully, we do find a way to reinvent it, because if these larger companies, DC's going the same way as Marvel. Marvel's been trying to push the digital comics for a while. There was a while when you started seeing a digital code that when you purchased a comic book, you put in a digital code on a website and you got to read a digital comic. Well, those digital comics are no longer on their site if you type in those codes now. Now you have to get like bootleg versions of the digital comics that they had. And it's very concerning with the digital generation, because we were talking about physical media disappearing, and VHS, DVD, and games, physical media is going, movies, and now in the United States, we're seeing they're limiting the runs of comic books and magazines. I worry about it. The Collector says it might take another 5 years, but Marvel and Dark Horse will be replaced by people like you and me with real love for the media. Dark Horse has already announced that they're going completely digital soon. There's possibility that they might sell off the titles that they have, because they got bought out by a gaming company. They're pretty much a digital tech company now, with the way Dark Horse is going. I mean,
I just hope that whoever buys them, it's not Marvel, because Marvel wouldn't know what to do. They would just, at least with Warner Brothers / DC, if they have their black imprint, right? DC Black or Vertigo, like
well,
dude, it'd be cool.
Vertigo's
Yeah,
no longer being printed.
no, but I'm saying if hypothetically speaking, right? If they buy the Dark Horse comics, right, the brand, and they somehow they're like they have a reason to bring back the Vertical brand. I don't know if they could use Dark Horse. Maybe they can, but this would give
I
them an
don't think
excuse
that
to use
DC
that.
will do it. I don't think DC will do it with the way Warner Brothers is suffering right now. Even if
Because think about it, they could probably because think about the mask, right? Didn't they with New Line? Didn't they distribute the mask? That's what I'm saying. Like they could probably if they want to own the mask character, right? But they have to buy everything else. Like it's like a
right.
package deal
So
situation.
what the theory is, and this is what I read. If Dark Horse does start selling off their comic book lines, which or if they decide, just because they're leaning towards gaming, just like a lot of other companies are. Dark Horse wants to lean towards gaming and digital stuff. So the fan theory is, and this is just a fan theory because Dark Horse hasn't said anything about it. The fan theory is that people they're probably going to sell off these titles. And if anybody does buy the titles, it would be Image Comics. Image Comics would be the one to do it, because right now you're not going to see Warner Brothers, which owns DC, pick up any new titles, because right now they're hemorrhaging. And we as the Collector says, there's so much hunger out there for real superhero stories. Somebody's going to have to fill that gap. But the problem is with the way superhero movies have been going lately, that's probably not going to happen with a lot of these companies to get the superhero movies that we hunger for. We're getting fed propaganda films. Supergirl, horrible film. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people hated it. I particularly didn't like it. It was not Supergirl. Sure, they had a blonde girl wearing a semi-appropriate Supergirl costume, but I would have much preferred the Supergirl that we got in the Flash movie, and that was a horrible Supergirl as well.
Yeah,
My,
she dude, she was not Supergirl. She was
she
literally Superman with like literally had the bodysuit of Superman, like the costume of Superman
right.
without the cape,
Oh no,
and
you're
just
right.
had yeah, and just had the like a a tomboy. Let's just call it a tomboy finger quotes
Right.
haircut.
For being an alternate universe Supergirl though. Like I would have preferred that over what we got with this James Gunn Supergirl. And just to be honest, the only thing about the was the look of the character minus the actor. I'm not a big Milcock fan, but whatever, I mean, it is what it is, and they're
She
gonna,
does what they tell her to do. Like
yeah,
if she tells them to tell the fans to fuck off, she'll
right.
do it
So
because
I'm
that's how
not.
she is.
Well, she told everybody to f off, and she also ruined. That was another aspect. Is once again we've talked about this in the past. Don't open your mouth. Don't open your mouth. You ruin an
Right.
IV.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of DC, let's talk about the Flash, the origins of the Flash, the original, not Barry Allen or Wally West. We're gonna talk about Jay Garrett. Garrick. Sorry, Jay Garrick. The one that looked like Hermes,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or Thoth, if you count Egyptian more. Like he wore the helmet with the wings, with the lightning bolt shirt, like the blue pants, the winged shoes, which looks pretty cool. It would be cool to give that back to the Flash for Barry Allen, but put a Robin mask on him or something, just as a reference to the original Flash. Because that outfit looked cool. The only thing that it was kind of missing was like a mask.
He when they did that, they were referencing Hermes, the Greek god.
Yes,
And that
but
was
he
a
still
reference
had.
to Hermes.
Yeah, but he was still running fast though. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
though they it's less of a reference to Hermes now. It's more like he's fast like lightning, but it would be cool to go back to that because that would explain what. Because think about it, Flash in canon is one of the smartest characters in the DC universe
Oh
because
yeah.
his mind is so fast that he could think fast, that he's really intelligent.
Well, even before like he got his powers, he was a scientist. Now, and that's one of the
Oh
things
yeah,
that was
that's that too. Sorry, I forgot to
he
mention
was
that, but like,
he was a scientist before he got his powers. And while they did
yes,
do a
he
lot of
was.
retcons to that, at least with the horrible Flash movies that we got through even with the previous universe before James Gunn took over, those retcons, they at least still kept him as a scientist, even though they had him as a student
He's like
scientist.
he's a junior scientist slash
Yeah,
apprentice scientist.
right,
He wasn't a senior scientist. He
right.
wasn't like that. Yeah.
But in the comic books, he was a scientist originally, so like he was smart. He was smart before he got his powers. So like just the
Well,
fact that
they realize unless you're a prodigy
and
kid, like if you're like Dookie Howser, you're like 16, you're 13 years old being a scientist. That's not realistic.
right
So they changed it. They had to change. It's like because Flash is supposed to be in his 20s/30s.
right, and DC, they made multiple retcons with the Flash, just like they did with, I mean, you had more than just Barry Allen. You had, they eventually like wrote up a speedster for multiple generations. Again, the Flash is one of those ones that eventually they just kind of wrote in other characters and go, "Hey, look, with every generation there is one." You know,
Yeah, like for example, Kid Flash, right? In the comics, Barry Allen dies, and he takes over as Wally West, who's Kid Flash, becomes the Flash. And in the cartoons, right? At least in Superman the animated series, it is presumed that Flash that he raced was Barry Allen, right? The one in Justice League is left ambiguous. We don't know
yeah,
if it's Barry Allen or Wally West, but it could be either or. And
right.
in certain comics, Jay Garrick or Jason Peter Garrick, he could be related to Barry Allen,
Absolutely. Real quick, I want
depending
to.
on the story, depending on who
Oh,
writes the story in the
absolutely,
universe.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so it's still in continuity that he was the original Flash, depending on the iteration.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and his nephew becomes the new Flash. Yeah.
Right. I've always been a Barry Allen fan. Like other versions of the Flash. They even had like their golden era Flash, just like they had their golden era Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Which was his grandfather, I believe.
No, uncle.
Uncle, yeah, his uncle,
Uncle.
so so I've always been a Barry Allen fan, but we had before Barry Allen, we had
Jay
a
Garrick.
speedster, Gay
Yeah.
Garrick, yeah,
Jay Garrick.
Jay
Yeah.
Garrick, yeah,
The original
uh,
one, the one that
yeah.
looked like Herbie's, like they
He
never.
had
Mhm.
he had the World War II helmet, and I love the guy, man.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
he was a part of the Justice Society.
Yeah, he was Justice Society. He was one of my favorites. But I'm a Barry Allen guy myself. So real quick, I want to just go back to what I was saying about Supergirl real quick because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jamie had said the right thing in chat. Look what happened to Rachel Ziegler. She kept running her mouth, and well, she couldn't keep her mouth shut, and the collector responded in chat, says, "Yeah, Rachel, the shame of all Pratt and Latina ladies." Truth.
Well, the problem is that, look, Rachel. This is the problem when you grow up and you weren't told no all your life, right? Like they spoiled her when she was a child.
It's what
So
we call pretty girl privilege.
yeah, yeah. When your parents never told you, or handsome boy syndrome if it's a boy. When you're never told no, and somebody tells you no, you flip out, you go crazy, or you refuse to do it, and that's very dangerous. But again, she grew up as a rich, spoiled, Latina girl. Like she. What do you expect her to do? She got everything handed to her, so she thought speaking her mind, she didn't care, and I don't know why she didn't have her agent, publicist, manager, lawyer, whoever that was a part of her team, her camp.
She needs people. See, this is the thing. I think entertainers, they need to have a handler. Um, I think we
Yeah,
need
but
to.
don't they train you to talk to the media
They don't
though?
train you to do anything. They expect you to be on your best behavior. They expect you to be whatever, and they also expect you to follow the mo of the company that you're contracted to. But that's not a legitimate thing. And people are chaotic creatures, and they do whatever they want. And even if they were to have a handler, look at Tom Holland.
Yeah.
They have to film multiple versions of a movie because Tom Holland will just leak things out. There's a reason why a lot of us are kind of ticked off about don't get me wrong, the new Spider-Man movie was a good
But he
movie.
did that's who was leaking. What, he said that in interviews, or oh my
Well, Ruffalo leaks stuff as well, but not as bad as Holland. So they had to film like multiple different of these versions of these movies and scenes, different
God.
endings, different fight sequences, different major sequences, just because they have this problem where the movies end up. Get leaked because and scenes get leaked because of either film producers or actors or directors, and they just talk and talk and talk, and then you have people like Rachel Ziegler, you have some of these other stars who just say things, and they say things that kind of like scare off the following. um I believe King is having a issue right now with his internet, so he'll be he's popping in and out, so you probably can't hear him, but he'll be in here just shortly. So we're gonna hope that. Oh, he popped out again. So as soon as King gets back, he's got a little circle spinning on his face, but we'll hopefully he gets back soon. Um, he's having some technical difficulties. But anyhow, we're gonna acknowledge chat real quick. The collector says actually Rachel Ziegler ain't that pretty. As a fact, for a Latina lady, she's very average. Every second girl here looks like her, and then there are really pretty ladies, and that's true. That's true. Unfortunately, you have the situation where
Can you hear me?
absolutely, coming in
Okay.
loud and clear.
Alrighty. Okay.
Yes, indeed. There are gremlins harassing my Catman. For those people who want to prevent the gremlins from attacking the Catman, you can always support the channel and make sure you drop a donation and help us get KingStyle a brand new mic. And one way that you can do that and help KingStyle and us get new tech for our show is go to Throne Gifts, where you can help us crowdsource some of the tech that we need for our studio, whether it's KingStyle gets his new mic or some of the new camera that we need, so that way eventually we can do comic book reads and a few other things, because we're planning on doing some reads on our channel. We're going to get a few of our content creators together, me, King, and a few other people, where we read scripts and comic books, and we'd like to get a downward facing camera that shows certain sequences and things. Also, we're going to be doing box openings as well. That's going to help that. So if you want to help us get the tech that we need, please go to Throne Gifts, scan that QR code right there, and you can donate towards the channel and help crowdsource for stuff that we want. And you can also buy gifts. If you buy a gift, I'll tell you what, it'll come right to me. Your address will be safe. Nobody will know it. I won't even know it, but it will send you something. It'll send me something, and we'll open whatever gift you want live on stream. So regarding origin stories,
Hey, can we talk about the Hulk?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's a cool origin story. Technically speaking, the Hulk, before Bruce Banner, was just the Hulk. It was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. It was just like essentially like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
he was more Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, but also Frankenstein, because of the color scheme. You know, because remember, green / black and white, visually, right? Not full, like that, but like kinda like, and both of them dealt with doctors, right? Dr. Bruce Banner, right? Dr. Frankenstein. So kinda. So it's like a mix between Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the werewolf thing, and Frankenstein's monster. And can't control his emotions. And like Dr. Bruce Banner, in the Bruce Banner versions, he can untransform to being the Hulk by being human again. But unfortunately, whenever he gets angry, you wouldn't like if I was angry, would you? He would transform into the Hulk. And then in the TV show version of the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, he was played by Bill Bixby, and Lou Ferrigno, and he was called David Banner on the show, or David Bruce Banner, aka they retconned a couple episodes later. But he was not called Bruce Banner in the show.
Well, in the original comics, Incredible Hulk #1, and also before that, when he was backdoor piloted through a couple other storylines, Banner was originally transformed into a gray Hulk because of a misprinting error. I'm not sure if you guys know that his original coloring was gray because they didn't have the green ink that they wanted, so he was misprinted. But the whole concept of the character was initially a Dr. Jekyll. They wanted to modernize the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thought process, and they wanted eventually to have like the ultimate villain, but they turned around. I think it was Frank Miller? No, who did? Not Frank Miller.
I think this was way before Frank Miller.
Yeah,
dude.
no.
This had to be like in the 60s or 70s.
It was 64 when they introduced him.
I think Frank Miller was a little bit too young doing comic books by then.
Oh man, I can't even think about it. I can't remember the name of the artist right hand. They wanted to do a modernized version of that, and he was supposed to be a villain, and they portrayed him as a villain. Jack Kirby, sorry, Jack Kirby. I don't know why I said Frank Miller. Probably because we
Well,
mentioned Frank Miller earlier in the episode, and
probably
his name's
probably
been
early a couple
echoing through.
episodes earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we
Jack
talked.
Kirby made the Incredible Hulk. He was
Yeah,
like I said, like he was a representation of the modern take of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the Frankenstein's monster, and the werewolf thing. Because remember, he transforms,
right.
and
So there would, if they kept him as a representation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, there would have been an issue at that point in time because in 1964, they had just did a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie through Universal, and they didn't want to get sued, so they retconned the character to be a scientist who eventually becomes a good guy.
yep. And
All just
also
not get sued.
also fun fact: did you know that the Incredible Hulk, right? Originally, Arnold Schwarzenegger auditioned to play the Hulk, but the green paint made him sick. Slash, they didn't want him to be the
You know,
Hulk.
that's a big trend in film. Yeah, what if? Okay, so the collector is referencing an issue of What If, great comic series. If you ever read it, it's much better than the What If cartoons on Disney Plus. What if the Hulk issue tattooed? Oh, you have that tattooed? That's funny. What if the? Oh man,
Alrighty.
classic. Hey, great tattoo to have. I'd if I had a tattoo, it probably would be a comic book character as well.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah.
but yeah, so the Incredible Hulk. I like the origin stories of the Incredible Hulk. I like the different takes on the Incredible Hulk, and eventually, with as you were saying, they called him David Banner. They actually turned that into his middle name in the comic book, so he was
Yeah,
Bruce
they, they
David
they
Banner.
flipped it. They flipped it because in the TV show it was David Bruce Banner,
Yeah,
and then they changed it back to Bruce Banner by calling him Bruce David Banner. Which, hey, they kind of kept the name. I guess the name was so popular. Well, we got to keep it.
yeah. Well,
We got to
there's
kind of keep it. We got to kind of keep it. So
So, for normies who don't read comic books, the theatrical is the lore for normies who don't read comic books. Now, for us nerds, the lore is the comic books. The original lore is always the comic books, the original
yep,
print. What's
they're the Bibles. They're literally the reference to what made the characters who they are and what you adapt for other
right?
things.
And so, and then, so you get these normies out there who are like, okay, well, this is the origins, this is the story because the movie said so, the TV series said so. This is how it goes. But as a matter of fact, those aren't the origins. And with the exception of like a couple of sequences uh, in these movies, nowadays you're not getting origin stories, and this really sucks. And this is part of the reason why we're doing episode 12 today is because we didn't do our origin stories at the beginning of the series. We had a banger topic with Lex Luthor syndrome, thanks to KingStyle coming up with the topic. Incredible show. If you get a chance, go back and watch episode 1, Lex Luthor syndrome, probably my favorite episode of all the episodes we've done so far. But we
Oh,
don't.
absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we don't
Yeah.
get origin stories anymore. Like
Yeah, we
when
know the only time you do is if in a mini flashback, if that.
or
Like
in
not
a
even
reboot.
yeah, or reboot or like a TV show tie-in that's could be canon to this. So hypothetically speaking, if it was like an animated Spider-Man tie-in with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, they might do the origin story on that cartoon. Keyword might.
Right.
They
So
might they might do it later on, or they might do it in the first episode.
no, it's true. It's true. And this is the reason why I like the one of because as I've said before, I'm not a Tom Holland fan. It's and
I'm not either. I'm sorry.
this
He's
MCU
not
version of
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's
Yeah.
not Spider-Man. He's
Well, he's
not.
not on top of that, like not only is he not Spider-Man, but uh the
He
Tom
doesn't
Ho-
he doesn't act like anybody.
No, it's true. He acts like Tom Holland. He acts like every other character. But once again, that's beyond the point. So like, I'm not a Tom Holland fan. I don't like the Tom Holland stuff. The MCU Spider-Man is not Spider-Man. They've retconned up the backside on that.
And they kind
And
of made him a popular kid, like not fully popular, but popular enough.
right,
Whereas the Sam Raimi, dude, the only friend that he had was Harry and MJ, Mary
right.
Jane. That was
And
it. He had no friends. Like in this one, he has more friends,
even with this
which is
Raimi verse, though, we had retcons up the backside as well. And but I liked that series better. I
I
felt like
preferred that. Like
Tobey
the
Maguire
whole
fit Peter Parker better.
hmm
You
the
know,
whole organic webbing. I prefer that over the synthetic web shooters.
and eventually the 616 comic book 616 eventually brought that in. And also like everybody else, even this new series has brought that in with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. But once again, those are major retcons that they put into the series. But regarding Tom Holland as Spider-Man, like the only reason why I like this series is because finally, for once, we did not get an origin story that's been told over and over and over again. And while I'm not a big fan of the retcons they made in it, I'm tired of seeing the same origin stories over and over again when we reboot a universe.
Yeah.
But we,
Well, fun fact about Spider-Man. Spider-Man officially, depending on who you ask, because there's a dispute, and I use that with an asterisk, right? Because Jack Kirby claimed he created Spider-Man, even though Stan Lee says that the outfit he created looked more like Captain America than Spider-Man. But supposedly there was a costume place that Jack Kirby designed the Spider-Man suit for a costume shop like 10 or 15 years prior to the Spider-Man introduction. And it looked like the Spider-Man outfit just with different colors, right?
see, the whole dispute between Kirby and Stan Lee regarding Spider-Man is all based off of two different aspects. Yes, Kirby did design the look and feel of the art style of Spider-Man. But Stan Lee, being editor in chief at the time, said
Mm-hmm.
made the decisions to make the storyline in a certain way,
Because
and
yeah, yeah.
both people are responsible. I don't care what side of the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby fight you are on, people out there who are fighting back and forth. And Stan Lee created him. No, Jack Kirby created him. They both created him.
Because
One was the
officially,
look, one was
yep,
the story.
officially it's Steve Ditko and Stan Lee.
Right, officially. But
Officially, but Jack Kirby disputed that and said, "No, I designed the costume."
right.
Like because there was a costume shop, and I'm telling you, like I can't look for it right now, but I saw this and I'm like, dude, it literally looked like Spider-Man's costume, just
Right.
without the color, the red and blue colors. It was like yellow and purple, I think.
There was different versions of the costume in different color schemes. There was a yellow version. There was multiple black versions. And that one, and once again, you go back to the who created Spider-Man with all the retcons, the different versions, the reboots. And we've talked about this with Superman in the past, with the different incarnations of Superman, just because they changed the shape of the S in order to
Yes,
keep the character from going into public domain.
exactly.
Uh, uh,
And,
you know,
and that's why, and also, fun fact about Spider-Man, right? Because we're talking about trademarks. Originally, when they introduced Spider-Man in, oh my God, what was it? Wizards and, like, you know what I
uh,
mean, right?
he was. It was Amazing Adventures.
Amazing Adventures. Sorry, Amazing Adventures. What was it? Was it
Oh,
15?
I don't remember what number it was, but Amazing Adventures is when they
Amazing
introduced
Adventures. Because according to Stanley, they were going to end Amazing Adventures, and Stanley just said, "Screw it, I'm going to introduce that Spider-Man character," because he tried to originally Spider-Man was going to be called Flyman, but I
Well,
think the Fly was a thing, so he couldn't do that. And then he's like, you know what? How about I just call it Spider-Man? Because that's
so
cooler.
so
And
with the
then he put it in that comic book because he was rejected many times about Spider-Man, and then he put it there, and then the editor in chief, you should do more of that Spider-Man comic.
Well, that's kind of partly the story, and so Amazing Adventures was what they called an anthology series, kind of like how we look at like series like The Twilight Zone, Tales from the
Mm-hmm.
Crypt,
Yeah,
and all these other
it's
shows that were
similar to the yeah.
also comic books
It's similar to
first.
Detective Comics number whatever when Batman was first introduced. It was an anthology thing.
Right.
Batman was not the main guy in the comic,
Also,
just like
Action
Spider Man
Comics.
wasn't.
Also,
Mhm.
Action Comics was Superman.
Yep,
It just
those
so happened.
anthologies
Right.
they were in there. Yeah, go ahead. I'm
So
sorry.
with the anthology series, right? Those all those stories were supposed to be one-offs. Even Groot. Groot was a one-off character. He was also a villain, and he was an alien, destroying the world. I mean, so like a lot of these characters, they retcon, they brought him back. They're like, okay, well, what, over the years, we're like, okay, these characters from back then, we're going to use them now. We're going to whatever. When Stan Lee ended up taking over, and they like, okay, well, we're not going to use Amazing Adventures anymore. That the anthologies concept doesn't sell, and they wanted to serialize characters that they can use. And the whole concept of serializing the characters was they don't want to have to print over and over again the same comic, because once a bunch of kids, they buy a comic book, they roll it up, put it in their pocket, they read it, they traded it with their friends. They're not going to buy the same comic a second time. They've already read that story. They want a new story. And particularly with Spider-Man in particular, Peter Parker, kids were able to imagine themselves in that role.
Oh yeah,
And
and no, go ahead. Go ahead.
that's what sold the concept of we're serializing some of these characters from Amazing Adventures. And from there, it worked. Other characters were then used instead of Amazing Adventures, which they stopped printing. Well, they did have like characters that they brought from Amazing Adventures into the primary comic book shared universe and whatnot by backdoor piloting them into these comic books. Like the Hulk was backdoor piloted from another one.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine was backdoor piloted. And a lot of these main characters that we see were backdoor piloted as additional characters. We have the Punisher, for example, major example of a backdoor pilot. And
Yeah, he was Spider Man's enemy.
he was,
He,
yeah, and he wasn't an anti-hero.
no, he was a
Uh,
villain. He was a villain. He was not an anti-hero. He became an anti-hero after the fans liking the Punisher.
so, so like you have these situations where they're backdoor piloted, and these characters did not have origin stories.
And Wolverine was a villain when he was first introduced. He's his villain, his the hero that he was fighting was the Incredible Hulk. That's who he was
Yeah.
facing.
Yeah, I agree. Hold on one second. Jamie, I hope you're right. Maybe she will learn her lesson. I doubt it, though. She's not the type that'll learn her lesson, considering that she's still opening her mouth in her current thing. I think she just got herself kicked off of an off Broadway show, and also she got rejected from the West End over there in England too. So, yeah. But maybe other actors will learn from Rachel Ziegler's mistakes.
Maybe.
Um,
Uh,
I doubt it though, because once again, people are chaotic, and once you get an ego, actors have egos, and they open their mouth quite often. And there are people who believe that you have a platform, you should use it to speak about things. And when you speak about certain things politically or on other topics, you tend to alienate up to 50% of your following. And that is not good when you're trying to sell a product like a movie. Don't alienate your following. You want to have more people come to your shows, not half the people come to your shows. And we are coming up to probably the last quarter of our show because our show tonight with Theta starts at 9:30 on Nerd Archaeology. So we are at that point in time where we want to probably end our show probably about in the next half an hour. So we're going to go into some honorable mentions, and I'd like to go back to King and I's origins, and this time I'd like to talk about why King and I are here.
Right, right.
Uh,
I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is a fun adventure that we're on right now, and I would continue to be on that ride with everybody while listening slash watching us on streams. It is, interesting. Like I grew up, I watched a lot of like cartoons or like movies. Like Spider Man was one of my favorite. The Sam Raimi Spider Man movie was one of my favorite movies, and it still is one of my favorite movies of all time. Because Spider Man was amazing. Like really, pun intended. He is amazing, spectacular. I saw like this teenager, right? Because he was a teenager in the Sammy Raimi movie, the first one. Obviously, he graduated high school. That's how they got around it. It was fun that we saw a teenage boy, a kid practically, right, a child, doing acrobatics and kicking ass.
as we said, you see yourself in these roles.
Right,
The reason
right.
why these storylines sell is we see ourselves in these roles, and we see ourselves in places we want to go. We want to do things with our lives. King has mentioned a few times before that
Yeah,
he's
I
interested in wrestling and
I'm
whatnot. But
interested in pro wrestling. I grew up as a little kid. I was like 3 or 4 years old. My cousins got me into it, and I'm still watch it on and off to this day, depending how good it is or how bad it is. But I still like it, right? Uh, I love the whole pro wrestling talk, the trash talking aspect, the moves, like doing the devastated moves, the crazy moments. Did he just do that or did she just do that type of moment, right? I love it.
man,
And we need more of that like nowadays in entertainment. Now it's like kind of boring with certain things. It's not
while
as fun and
while that is true, we're also doing this more than this, encouraging, hoping that one day our words will encourage like physical media to continue, comic
yeah.
books to continue, good storylines to continue, whether it
And
be in film or cartoons.
speaking of good storylines, one of my cartoons that I liked growing up was Avatar: The Last Airbender, and to me it's one of the best cartoons. You could show it to people of all ages. It's not just a kids cartoon. It proved that. Like Batman the Animated Series, which was another show that I liked and enjoyed, was a good show as well. They did not insult the audience intelligence. Oh, it's
No,
a kids show, guys. No, they treated the audience with great respect.
well, I think that a lot of normies don't understand that cartoons are not just for kids and never have been. I mean, Disney, for
Yeah,
example,
Disney
they
did that to make
Dis
money. They
well, Dis
lied
but
to
no,
make money.
at the same time, Disney included a lot of boob and butt jokes in their content back in the day. They included a lot of jokes that people only that only adults would understand. You see this with Looney Tunes even. And so like we want to remind everybody that like this content's not just for kids. We're not just bunch of grown nerds talking about things, but we are who we are. And we have a reason for being on this show. The reason why King and I started the show. And
Mm,
real quick, I just want to talk about why we're here because we never did talk about that. Like I said, we got into our first show with a banger topic, and we never did talk about our inspirations about why we're here, what,
absolutely.
where King wants to go, where I want to go. I make a joke all the time that I'm just here to hang out with a bunch of friends, but that's not entirely true now, is it? Now we'd like to be able to support ourselves. We'd like to be able to grow. We'd like to be able to move forward and possibly get a job in certain fields if we're not
Abs-
already
a-
there.
absolutely. I look. I love doing this with Dan, and I'm pretty sure Dan loves doing this with me, obviously. However, the other part of the reason, it's another part of the puzzle, right? Or the yin to my, the yin and yang, right, part, is that I want to keep improving myself to doing shows in order to be able to act or do pro wrestling or to do voiceover work. And by doing shows like this, even though they're fun to hang out with people, don't get me wrong, I still like it. It is to help me uh, improve on the stuff that I need to do by talking a lot. And hopefully, by doing this over and over, repeated over and over again, I can be able to talk for how many hours long in the recording studio or on the stage or on front of a camera for a movie or a TV show and not be tired and long-winded because I'm already doing it right now. So this is a good start slash good practice
I
for
would
me.
really like to hear the voice of KingStyle portrayed in an animated feature. I would like to see KingStyle one day being his version of Mean Gene from the old WWF. I would like to hear the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the ring, the one, the only. Big King himself.
Right.
I'd like to hear King be able to announce somebody, and we're doing this
Like,
because we're
yeah.
we're building something for King. We're building something for other people in our community. And this is something that I would like to see. I have total faith in King. When I approached King and I said, "Hey, look, I want to do something with you. I know your channel right now is not built up, and we're if it's the
It's a
last
work
thing
in progress, you
if
know?
it's the last thing I do, we're going to get people to subscribe to King Style so that way we can get into 50 subscribers. So that way he can do some shows on his own. He can build up his network. He can build his potential growth to becoming the voiceover actor he wants to be. I think that is why we're here. It's not just talking about nerd crap. We're talking about like things that we like, but we're also practicing for King's future for wherever I go as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Like Dan, not for nothing, he is a DJ slash a karaoke jockey, which is KJ. Um, he knows how to do this style, and that's pun intended. He knows how to do the style to bring people in. He knows how to bring it in that DJ style, like voiceover guy style. And maybe in the future, Dan could do some voiceover work himself. Um,
One of the
I'd like
things
to
that
see
I'm
that.
hoping to do eventually, after the pandemic hit and my business went under, I was no longer able to host private events or even just public events. We hosted craft fairs, we hosted cosplay events, we hosted little nerd events with my old company, Winged Beast Entertainment, and Redneck Sing-alongs. What I would like to do, and the whole point of us doing Cowboys and Kings and the other podcasts I take part of is to eventually make it possible for me to be able to open up my own recording studio. And whether it be with King Style as my partner, Theta as my partner, or both, or
Or
any of the other
whoever, anybody can join. It could
Mr.
be
DJ Longhair, people in my
anyone,
network, anyone out
anyone
there,
in the
you know,
future, anybody in the future. It depends, right?
eventually partner up and open up a recording studio. And I know that if the three people that I mentioned, King, Theta, and DJ Longhair, all want that. We want to have a recording studio, and whether it be one studio location or three, or what have you, is we would like to one day have that, so that way King can be able to do his voiceover work, and he and I can.
And I'm willing to do anime too. Like I don't whatever the voiceover work is, even audiobooks. I don't mind doing commercial work, but I don't want to be like a generic voiceover guy 207. or generic voiceover guy 380 because look, they're good, but look at Don Fontaine. In a world, right? He was amazing to the point that the Today Show and other news outlets had to interview him and they made documentaries based on him doing the movie trailers and television commercials. He was not credited for his contribution for a while. It wasn't until he did a couple of TV shows like cartoons like Fillmore where they officially gave him credit. Who's the guy with the $1 million voice? There you
Indeed.
go. They gave it to him, and then he tragically passed away.
Indeed. So this is one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that we're doing these shows so that way we can build up ourselves and our community and our origin stories, whether it be 23 years as a karaoke DJ or just starting off as a podcaster in order to become a voiceover artist, or whether or not you want to be an actor or you want to do interviews and interview people, or you want to hang out with good friends. These are all admirable reasons why a lot of people in our community are here doing these podcasts on multiple networks, on multiple spots on YouTube or on Kick or Twitter or Facebook. And we really hope that we inspire just enough where our community helps King grow, helps you grow, and we all get what we desire from this. This is not just entertainment. It's not just two guys shooting the shit, talking about our favorite nerd stuff. We're practicing for what we want to come out of this. Our origins, whether it be a cartoon cat or a head in a jar, our origins are more than that. Our origins are where we're going to go from here. We are here. This is our origin. Cowboys and Kings. We want to go further. We want to bring you with us. And hopefully we can do that. You know, we've been doing
Absolutely.
this 12 episodes, 12 whole episodes. Sure, we've been rocking out a bunch this month for the subathon. And eventually we'll get back to kind of a more steady schedule where we have regularly scheduled programming. But these are our origins. And where we go tomorrow is our story. The plot only thickens from here.
Yeah, the page turns itself on this journey that we have, and hopefully it keeps getting better and better. Yeah.
Well, it will only get better and better with the help of viewers like you. I would like that everybody who is part of the show to remember that there's multiple ways that you can support the channel. If you want to support the channel in the true official feline way, like the feline of finesse, you can get yourself some tiger blood from W Energy Drink. And for $39.99, you can get yourself a tub of W. One scoop per beverage will give you enough energy to go through a 2.5 hour podcast with me and King, and even additional podcasts from your community, like whoever you watch, whatever content it is, and you want to be able to watch it all. You want to be able to take part in it. You want to be able to comment and help bring the show forward. All your comments help, but what helps even more is supporting the channel in some way, whether you subscribe, whether you watch, whether you like, follow, and subscribe. Or you can get yourself some W Energy Drink. If you do decide you want some W Energy Drink, use the code CBD26, KJCBD26 for 10% off of your purchase. Also, if you want something to put that W Energy Drink in, you can always get the official Cowboys and Kings coffee mug. An 11-ounce mug costs $14 US, or you can get the 15-ounce mug for $15. And once again, use the code at checkout, KJCBD26, to get your official Cowboys and Kings coffee mug where you can drink out of your mug while watching Cowboys and Kings. Once again, we do ask that you support the channel. If you have access to Ko-fi, the link is in the description. You can click on the link to donate. We would really appreciate any donations that you have because it helps us bring the content further by allowing us tools that we need to animate new title sequences and also keep our back end production up. It helps us keep stage going, no watermark on the channel, and things that we really need to keep our quality up. So please feel free, if you can afford to, please donate. If you can't afford, please keep your money in your wallet and buy yourself some dinner. But if you can afford to donate, please, we ask that you help because this channel is only available. These shows are only available because of viewers like you. If you want to support us via Twitter, I do have a Twitter page where I do a lot of announcements of our shows. Sometimes I comment on things. Sometimes I cancel myself. Take part in all the fun. You see what also some of the ideas that I have with the community. Sometimes I post up an idea. I ask if anybody would watch a certain piece of content if we make it. I also put up little surveys and polls and show off stuff like my own artwork and some of the stuff that you might be interested in. Or you can follow us over on Discord, where I have my own Discord server, and you can be a member of Backstage with KJCowboyDan, where sometimes I hang out there and just do some side content and just socialize with the viewers. Great place to go. Great fun. Join us over at Discord. King, is there anything you'd like to say as we say goodbye? I take it. Well, we'll just say goodbye for you. But in the meantime, I want to say goodbye and make sure once again you give KingStyle a follow. He would really appreciate it. We're getting him up to 50 so that way he can stream. This has been our Origins episode. I really appreciate you joining us today. And if there's anything you'd like to see us cover, feel free to let me know in the chat, in the comments. Don't forget to comment at the end of the show. It helps push us through the algorithm, and we really appreciate any and all help you can give us. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. We'll see you over on Theta of Nerd Archaeology's channel in just 1 hour, where we're going to celebrate Theta's birthday. We got a 2-day birthday celebration. Tonight we're celebrating his birthday on his channel, and then we're going to celebrate over on my channel tomorrow with KingStyle and I doing a special presentation, a birthday presentation of Cowboys and Kings dedicated to the one, the only Theta of Nerd Archaeology. Join us in 1 hour. That's at 9:30 p.m. EST at Theta of Nerd Archaeology tonight for Theta's birthday. Here is our theme song. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Step right up. Lights on, mics hot. Where outlaws talk loud and kings don't whisper. Welcome to Cowboys and Kings. Yeah. Cowboys and Kings. On the floor, yeah, we're kicking it live. Crown in the room, you can feel that vibe. From the panels to the pixels, every story gets told. If it's hot in the culture, then we breaking the mold. From the cinema to the comic books, we put the games on blast. The beats will get wild, yeah, they never go past. We call it how it is, no in between. Turn it up, let the speakers swing. Got the crew pulling up, let them all step in. Every guest got a voice, the comments in chat will fly. Step up and be a king. When the mics go live, hear the Cowboys sing. Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes it with a rebel swing. It's a Cowboy's grit and a King's gold ring. Cowboys and Kings, let the whole world hear as we break it all down, keeping it loud and clear. Bring more than talk when y'all step in the ring. When you come to the battle royale, you better bring your thing. Welcome to the show, Cowboys and Kings. Yeah, KingStyle, clean with the sharp cut look, the feline of finesse, the Jaguar dripping luxury, bow tie tight like a best-selling book. Calm in the storm, buddy, bring that fire. Every word hits clean. You know we gonna take it higher, gather y'all to the King's court, yeah, with stories untold. Grab your armor, grip your sword, represent the kingdom with pride. Cowboy Dan got that outlaw tone, rough edge truth and a voice well known. He's a head trapped in the jar, jokes and memes will set you free. Bruh, that perspective hit differently. The saloon serves him hard, the door swings wide. Outlaw scream, a six-gun dreamer. Saddle up, let's ride. Laughs get loud and the takes get bold. Hard truths get dropped, some myths get sold. Spin that topic, let opinions clash. Some burn slow, some strike like a match. No script needed when the sparks ignite. Just real talk living in the spotlight. Cowboys and Kings, yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes hit with a rebel swing. It's a Cowboy's grit and a King's gold ring. Cowboys and Kings, let the whole world hear. We break it all down, keeping it loud and clear. Bring more than talk when y'all step in the ring. When you come to the battle royale, you better bring your thing. Welcome to the show, Cowboys and Kings. Lights get low, but the combo stays bright. Every fandom got a reason to fight. Heroes, villains, lines get thin. Sometimes the truth is where the gray walks in. Yeah. Panel to panel, yeah, we flip that page. From retro classics to the modern age. Reboots, remakes, who got it right? Who dropped the ball in that box office fight? Bruh, we call it straight, no filter here. From low budget gems to the blockbuster tier. One got the crown, one breaking the rules. Both dropping gems while we schooling fools. From comics to streams, yeah, we cover the field. Every hot take sharp like a blade unsealed. I guess step up to the mic to bring heat, to bring flames. They tell you a story when they step in the frame. Cowboys and Kings, yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes hit with a rebel swing. Under a Cowboy's hat and a King's jewel crown, we gonna run this town. Cowboys and Kings, yeah, we run this show from the page to the stage to the screens, you know. Hot takes hit with a rebel swing. It's a Cowboy's grit and a King's gold ring. Cowboys and Kings, pull up a seat, join the conversation. Next